Hi everyone, and welcome back to another devlog for Hecla the Witch, a Zelda-like I'm creating with my 5-year-old daughter. At the end of last week, we wanted to start working on the first enemy for the game. As the major Zelda fan that I am, I wanted it to be a cute little slime. But, alas, my 5-year-old lead designer had other plans. Apparently witches like slimes. They keep them as pets and harvest slime drops from them that can be used for potions or something. So no killing slimes for now. But what dangerous creatures could Hecla then be facing on her adventures? Well, the thing is, she said, that witches are evil and battle things that are good. Okay, this wasn't at all what I had planned when I wanted to start this project. I wanted a Link-like hero that battles slimes. However, I kind of knew that she didn't mean evil, not world dominance evil or something. And after talking a bit back and forth, I got a feeling that her main point is that witches are different and maybe also a bit misunderstood. They like things like slimes and slugs and dark colors and so on. But Hecla is definitely also cute and nice in her own way. Okay, no slimes. But what could our first enemy be then? Well, my 5-year-old of course had a long list which included dogs more than once. I kept explaining that I'm not sure I can actually draw a dog, at least not yet. So she agreed we should save this idea for later. One of the other things on her list was strawberries. So that's what we went with for now. And I'm not saying that I'm secretly pretending this is a red slime with a green hat, but... Now it's Tuesday, and my lead designer has gone to the zoo, so I have a bit of time to work on the game. But I've been given clear instructions on what to work on this week. The main task is to get Hecla's first weapon working properly, so she can kill those vile slimes. Strawberries, of course. And then afterwards, we're going to add a health system so the strawberries can also hurt Hecla. But before getting any of this done, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that no one is watching me work right now and add a camera to the game first. Also, since it's summer, I'm working outside on my laptop for now. For the camera, my main idea is that it should only move once we move the player outside the screen. I know a lot of games like this have the camera following the player a lot of the time, but I just feel that this fits both the puzzle and the exploration element of the game better. You never really know what's in the next screen before you go look. And the world can also feel larger than it actually is for the same reason. For puzzles, it also makes it easier to control what the player can and can't see at any given time. I've implemented cameras like this a lot of times, but for some reason I can never remember how I tweaked it to my liking. I do, however, always think that I can remember. So what was meant to take maybe 10 minutes ended up taking over an hour, and maybe I only got it to work by copying and pasting the code from a tutorial I made a while ago. I'm not sure I'm ready to admit that that is what I did and what I should have done from the start. But now that it's up and running, we can finally start working on attacking those strawberries. The first thing I did was to create a new scene for the powder weapon. Oh yeah, we decided that Hecla can in fact start with this kind of melee-ish attack. And we also have everything sorted with cooldowns and so on. but we'll save that for another video. Separating the weapon from the player scene like this seems intuitive, but when you use pixel animations, it's also a bit weird, I think, because you end up with animations from two different scenes that has to match up perfectly. So I decided to use the opportunity to try using method calls from an animation. I'm still not a huge fan of having to synchronize these like this, but well, this is game development for you. Most of the time there isn't really a perfect solution, but a lot of solutions that will work. And our focus also really shouldn't be to dwell too much on how everything is structured for now. What we do need is to get something up and running. I then went on to create a hitbox class and a hurtbox class that can easily be reused throughout the project. And then I spent way too long trying to figure out why the interaction between the two didn't seem to work. I think I looked through the layers and masks and 1,000 other things without figuring out, and honestly, right now when I'm recording this, I can't really remember what the problem was. Oh, but if you ever have to debug collision shapes like I have, then remember you can go to the debug menu and enable visible collision shapes. This makes it so much easier to make sure that the shapes are actually overlapping. Anyways, the way that this works is that a hitbox has a damage variable and a hurtbox looks for overlapping areas. And if it overlaps with a hitbox, it then emits a signal and passes the hitbox with the signal. Now we could just have sent the damage, of course, and that is what I did at first. But then I also wanted to add this little knockback that uses the hitbox global position, so I kinda needed that information as well. And again, I think this works fine for now. To make hitting the strawberries a bit more fun, I also created a health component and added an instance of it to the enemy. And also quickly added a blink when the strawberry is hit and a death animation for when it dies. Since its health is just 1 for now, these two are played right after each other. And honestly, this is already so much fun. I might even like my cute little lead designer strawberry idea more than my slimes. We also started debating what the red strawberry goo that is left could be used for later. Maybe a health potion of some sort? That was all I managed to get done on Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday and I've been using most of the day to catch up on some homeschooling prep that's long overdue. And of course, I also took some time to relax outside, where I found this grasshopper on one of our salad plants. This afternoon and evening, I will add health to the player and make her take damage when she runs into the strawberries. And maybe also create a death animation for Hekla. So adding health to Hekla and making the strawberries hurt her wasn't that difficult because of the components I made yesterday. The strawberries just needed a hitbox, and Hekla needed a hurtbox and a health component. And then I had trouble with the collisions again, but now I remembered what went wrong with the hit and hurt boxes yesterday. The hurtbox signal is of course not connected by default. And sure enough, once I connected it, everything worked perfectly. I think I will add this connection to the script later to avoid this problem in the future. I also add little knockback to the player but I'm thinking that I have to find a better way of adding knockbacks. Right now, it's in the script for the class's root nodes, which really isn't very reusable. I might add it to the common effects script I created to handle the hurt blink, but I'm going to wait with that for another time. The last thing I wanted to add today was a GUI to view the player's health. This is also something I've created a tutorial on earlier, so I had a pretty good idea of how to quickly add this. And now here we are at the end of Wednesday. I might have time for a little more work this week, but I'm not sure how much. But hopefully I will have time to create the death animation for Hekla. Now it's a Thursday afternoon, and I just finished creating a death animation for the player and set it up in Godot. I might change the name of this animation to Pass Out, because, well, I've just become too attached to Hekla. I can't really stand the thought of her dying, even if it's just a game. I wanted to mix the death animation from my other project and then from Link's Awakening, and I think this is really cute for now. One thing that I'm really trying to focus on is not spending too much time on the art, at least for now. Because I know how easily I can get sucked into this. I think the style we're experimenting with for now is really good for this. So we'll definitely keep that while we're building the first little playable version of the game. And then afterwards, we might evaluate if this is what we'll continue with, or if we want to change the style a bit. I know that my 5-year-old designer wouldn't mind us adding a few more colors, or maybe even fully change the color palette. But we'll see. I also really want to add a continue screen now, but I think I might be too exhausted to get it done this week. I'm trying out a new planning system in my bullet journal and it's super effective, but I've also gotten so much done that I really need a few days without any kind of work and maybe only a bit of homeschool planning. So I'll end this devlog here. There might be a bit longer between these devlogs going forward, because the new school year is getting closer and I might end up having a bit less time to edit, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. All I know is that I really enjoy making these devlogs, and so far they seem to keep me on track for the project. I hope you liked this video, and remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment and all that if you want to see more like this in the future. Bye!